is one area where people should have knowledge about, but do not have much information: road safety. For that reason, I have brought a special guest today who is a safety consultant from last 10 years, a quiet personality. When he starts speaking, you'll be all ears. Please help me welcome Rohan Govardhan.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you, Tabriz. Thank you for having me.
Let's get started. Rohan, if you can introduce yourself in three,
Okay.
four lines.
Yeah. So, as introduced, my name is Rohan Govardhan. I am an automotive engineer by profession, and currently I'm working as a road safety researcher. So, what I do is I research road accidents, and in line with that, I also work on various fields related to traffic safety, traffic engineering, related to automotive engineering, and so on. So, my primary work is working as a consultant for traffic safety.
Oh, okay. And may I know how did you get into this profile? Was that by a coincidence or you had planned it?
No, this was definitely not planned. I mean, this field didn't even exist properly when I joined. So I'm one of the, you can say, pioneers of this field since I joined. Because when I graduated in my engineering, this field was new. I was interested in automotive safety, and I began working as a company which used to investigate road accidents and automotive safety in general. And
Okay.
through that, I got to know that this is a big field, a big challenge in India, and this brought me into, I got into this field, and I started investigating a lot of crashes, studying a lot of about road infrastructure, how human behavior works, and this is how I got into this field.
So you must be enjoying this role because you want to work in this field. That's what I understood from.
Yes, yes, I enjoy it because I get to create impact. One thing, I mean, the work that I do brings about changes in people, even though they don't realize it, and that brings me some. You can say it, the impact brings pulls me into this field, and it's, you can call me, I mean, it's like an investigation of road crashes, so it's like a detective work. I like to solve puzzles, and this is more of a puzzle solving thing, so I really got into this field that way.
But there is more risk associated than the puzzle game.
Yes, much more risk.
Okay, okay. Ideas which you shared as a consultant and that helped bring down the road accidents or brought more safety on roads.
Yes, so this field is, I though maybe a consultant, I can't run the entire show. I mean, we work as a team. So to give an example, we during 2015 to 2019, we worked on the Mumbai-Pune Expressway, where we studied around 500 to 1,000 road crashes, and we determined what's going wrong on the road. And through that, we worked with various agencies, the road development agencies, the rangers, various agencies, and we were able to make changes. And through that, we brought about fatality reduction of 30% on the Mumbai-Pune Expressway. So the Mumbai-Pune Expressway, which people now see, is much different than the one which I saw when I started studying that route. It's much safer now. So that is one change
What were
I
the
can think
changes,
of.
if you can specify?
Primarily, it was related to the road design itself. So the road did not have any barriers in the middle of the road. So vehicles used to just, if say a driver sleeps or falls asleep, he just crosses the road and goes to the other side and hits another vehicle, leading to multiple fatalities. So one thing we put was barriers. We Then the road surface, we don't have any control over that, but the road furniture, which is the road barriers, apart from that, the lighting, the signage, everything was same. So to make it more interactive to the driver, to make it more safe for the driver, all those things were changed.
Oh, what was your biggest learning, if I may ask, in all these years?
Biggest learning as related to
You dealt with a lot of governments and private companies to bring road safety. What was your biggest learning in that?
of risk is quite different on roads compared to say other modes of transport. For example, dying on the road, you are around 10,000 times more likely to die in a road accident than say airplane accident.
Yeah.
But every time I go in a flight, I still see people praying every time the flight takes off. But nobody does that when we start on the road. It's because the risk perception is not there. People feel that, they think that if a road accident occurs, I can somehow control the vehicle and I can save myself. But that doesn't work. A road accident takes place within a second. You don't have time to react. You don't have time to do anything. The biggest finding for me was that if perception is created, I mean, if people have the right perception in road surviving or on the roads, that itself is a big thing. So, if any of your viewers want to learn more about this, I suggest them to go into something called as defensive driving. It's very helpful in a country like India, where a driver is alert and knows and perceives risk before risk can occur. So that takes a lot of risk away.
Okay. I just want to understand on a lighter note, which state people are most obedient in terms of road safety, and which states people are least obedient in road safety in India?
That's a very hard question to answer right now because, to be honest, I don't see any difference in most of the states. I mean, I've been to almost all the states in the country, bar some 4 or 5 states. The best, the most disciplined I can say is somewhere in the northeast. I mean, place like Meghalaya has excellent road discipline.
Oh,
That's what I noticed. And I've noticed that even roads, people driving on hilly roads are much more disciplined than people driving in plains because they have a risk perception. They know that if they take a wrong move, they'll just fall down of the god. So they have that risk perception. But I mean, the difference is not much. I mean, 19-20 जो कहते हैं, it's not big. I mean, when I was growing up, I used to think that Mumbai had amazing traffic discipline and so on. But I realized that no, even Mumbai does not. I mean, in the past 10 years, I've seen it deteriorate endlessly. I mean, the traffic discipline right now in Mumbai compared to other cities is there's not much difference left now. So all the states are still the same to me, to be honest, except a few regions.
let me ask you a controversial question. Do private companies manage roads better than government companies?
I mean, the data is too less for that. I mean, how it works is all the roads are owned by the government eventually. Private operators just manage it.
Yeah.
And it changes from the company to company also. Companies which are good at those to manage it excellently well compared to government. But to be honest, I can't answer this question.
Couple of more questions before we wrap up. If
Yes.
anybody wants to become a road safety consultant, he or she should do
Are you talking the qualifications or in general?
qualifications and qualities and skills.
Quali, coming from the qualifications, one is most of the people in this field are either say civil engineers, mechanical engineers, related fields, or transport planners. So these are the primary people in this field. Anything related to design, they can also participate, but these are the three primary fields. And qualities, one thing is biggest thing is patience because things move very slowly in this field unless if you want something to change quickly. I mean, this is not a disruptive field like many I mean, startups are. Things take time here, and it's extremely fragmented. So just changing one thing at one place cannot change things around the country. You
Yeah.
need to work slowly. You need to work in parts, and you need a lot of patience for that. So the biggest quality is patience.
Yeah. It's not like the app based businesses which are flourishing.
Exactly. It doesn't work that way.
One last controversial question, Rohan, if you can answer or if you can enlighten us or if you can just speak your heart out on, is there a suggestion you made which was which went wrong?
No, to be honest, it hasn't happened yet. Because as I said, it's not a one-man job, it's a team, and we decide as a team. So the best team, our team is that you can bounce off ideas each other. So if I say something, it is tested by the entire team and then a decision is taken. So that requires a close examination of every idea. So as a team, we haven't suggested anything that has gone wrong.
Okay. So how many people consist of a team for your company? How many people?
It depends on the project size. I mean, depends on this effort required. It can range from 3 people to even 30.
So let's say,
Sometimes
for
even more.
example, Mumbai Pune highway,
Yeah, that time we were a team of 10 to 15.
10 to 15 people. Thing related to making our roads safe, 1 minute, it is for you.
One thing, I mean, this is specifically for everybody, I mean, individuals are going on the road. So road safety is not a complex thing. It's very simple things done every day that keeps you safe. So defensive driving, I've already informed, that helps. Simple things. I mean, there is a reason why helmets are compulsory. Reason why seat belts are compulsory. It keeps you safe. I mean, most people link helmet and seat belts to challans. So if a cop is not there, nobody's going to wear them. But we need to understand why these rules came in place. I mean, I've seen so many cracked skulls. Every time I sit on a bike, I wear a helmet. Every time I sit in a car, I wear a seatbelt. And coming to seatbelt, most people don't even understand their cars properly. So, as an automotive engineer, I know how these systems work. So, the most common system I've seen is the airbag. Every car has an airbag, and people misunderstand it. So, they think that if I have an airbag, it will keep me safe. But airbags don't work that way. Airbag is a controlled explosion, and you need the seatbelt to keep you safe in that scenario. So most people don't wear a belt thinking that airbag won't deploy and they will be safe. But I've seen people dying because of airbag just because they are not belted. So things like that. It's very simple things done consistently every day that keep you safe on the road. There's nothing marvelous that you have to do, nothing out of the world. It's very simple things. Do it consistently and it helps. So one analogy I like to use in the road safety is the Russian roulette. I'm not sure if you have known it. Russian roulette is basically a game in which you have a revolver with six bullet holes and one bullet, and you just press the trigger until one person gets a bullet when he dies. So road safety works very similar to that. The only difference is that the barrel does not have six bullets, but six bullet holes hit us around 1,000. If you keep on taking risks, keep on pulling the trigger, one day you will get hurt. So it's better not to take those risks and do the simple things every day, and you'll be more than safe. That's the only thing
Okay.
I can say.
Amazing analogy. If I may ask in very simple language, I have heard a lot about airbags and seat belts. If you can explain in simple terms what happens when an accident takes place.
Uh, are you talking about the airbag deployment part?
Yes, how it works, whether a person gets saved or he doesn't survive.
Okay. A lot of survival in a crash is linked to speeds. So the higher the speed, the higher of chance of dying. I mean, almost everybody knows this.
Yeah.
But what safety features in a car specifically do is that if a crash occurs, the car sensor detects what is the severity of the crash, the direction of the crash, and so on. And the airbag deploys the airbag within 0.12 seconds.
Oh,
So airbag is fully deployed in that. Sorry, zero point 0.6 seconds. It's fully deployed in 0.12 seconds. So what happens is that it creates a explosion which releases a gas, and that gas basically fills up the bag through the steering, and it opens up in front of you. So if you are belted, the belt holds you back, and the airbag just protects you. But if you are not belted, what happens is that you fall in the airbag and think of a bomb exploding on your chest. So that's what happens if you are not belted in an airbag deployment crash. Similar to helmets, helmets work the same way, they reduce the crash impact. So
yeah.
I don't want to get into the physics of it, but that's just how simply a crash works. Since a crash occurs within a second, all safety systems in a car or anywhere were designed to work within point to point 2 seconds.
Got it. Got it. I understood little more than what I knew already. Now, you mentioned about defensive technique,
Yeah, defensive driving.
defensive driving. Can
Yeah.
you explain two, 3 points associated with defensive driving?
Defensive driving 2 3 points. It's basically it's a philosophy in which you already perceive the risk beforehand. Most people react to a situation; they are not proactive to it. For example, if you're driving and somebody comes on, say a biker, if you're driving a car, a biker or a pedestrian animal comes on the road, you react to it. Defensive driving comes a stage before that. You're proactive. For example, if you're going through a busy area, say a marketplace or an intersection, anywhere. These are places you expect people to cross. You expect animals to cross. You expect bikers to cross. So a defensive driver will slow down much before and expect these things to occur.
Yes.
Whereas a non-defensive driver will continue to speed, and then when something comes, they react.
Yes.
They press the brakes. Most people don't even brake; they just honk, and honking never works in these scenarios.
Yes. Any other point on defensive driving?
Uh, Beyond that, no, it's primarily risk perception. Understanding what can go wrong. It depends. It's very situational. So as I said, if it's a marketplace intersection, you need to slow down in these places. Not to overtake on curves
Yes.
is another suggestion that people give. Understanding blind spots in your own vehicle. Most people have that A-pillar blind spot. If they're turning, they can't see something on the right.
Yeah.
Most drivers do that. So understanding what risks are there and proactively work on them is what defensive driving is all about. It's quite a detailed field. Anybody can read about it online.
So, in conclusion, can I add you are the best judge on how to be safe on roads?
Best judge.
You
I
yourself
would.
are the best judge because
So there are two things. To keep yourself safe, you have to be self-aware. Defensive, as I say, that includes wearing a seatbelt. That's part of defensive driving. And plus, you also have to be prepared. So another thing, I mean, I recommend it to every person I know is to own a dash camera, dashboard camera in a or dash cam in their car. In India, it's really required. You don't know what can go wrong. And dash cam serves as a evidence proof. I've seen countless cases. You can see them online also, where people have been wrongly blamed for an accident they didn't even cause. So something like a dash cam helps you show evidence that you are not at fault for this.
okay,
It includes even traffic violations such as speeding.
okay.
So this can happen. People can wrongly accuse you of things, especially if you're in a car. So dashcam is something I recommend to people.
Does modern cars do not have dash cam?
Not all of them. Some cars have them inbuilt. Some of them an accessories. So some manufacturers have an accessory option for dashcam. Some have them inbuilt, but many of them do not. You need to buy separately.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rohan. It was a wonderful conversation, and I got more knowledge out of this than I had prior to this conversation. I really
Thank
want
you.
to thank you. Just final few words if you want to add about road safety or anything.
To be honest, I've spoken much about it. So as I said, it's very basic things that you do every day that keeps you safe.
Okay. Okay.
And thank you for having me. It was
Great.
great to share something that I've learned over the past 10 years.
Thank you very much. It's all my pleasure, Rohan. I really want to speak to guys like you who have a lot of knowledge, and I really want
Yes,
to
that's great.
thank you for agreeing and sharing your expert inputs. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.